Welcome to Graya Overload. I'm Anthony, and let's talk a little bit about CTS Labs and AMD Ryzen flaws. CTS Labs, which is a research forum, has came out with 4 categories of flaws on AMD processors. AMD, more specifically, the AMD Ryzen and AMD EPYC processors. You got the mobile line, the desktop, the workstation, and then the server line. So those 4 lines with AMD EPYC and Ryzen are affected by these in some fashion, and maybe not all of them, depending upon what types of what's all included. But it's got the Ryzen Fall, Master Key, and Fallout. And there's also Graya. And the first 3, the Ryzen Fall, Master Key, and Fallout, those deal with the AMD Secure processor, which is an ARM processor on the AMD processor that basically helps with the security. And then you got Graya, which is the flaw in the chipset, which is made by ASMedia, or the AMD contracts out to ASMedia to design and stuff. So a little bit about the flaws is that they are able to basically circumvent items and basically give up data without, or having an infection, basically be getting everything infected through bypassing the AMD secure processor in some fashion. And so that's for the first 3, and then you got Graya, which does the same thing but through the chipset basically. And I'm going to keep these pretty simple. I want a little bit more data from a third-party security researcher other than CTS Labs, and also I'd like to hear more from AMD on this, and then I really would like to dive in and maybe do a video about these flaws here. So I'm keeping it pretty basic. If you'd like to go look at amdflaws.com and or read the white paper, I encourage you to do so. I will put the links in the description below as well. But I take the security very seriously about these flaws, and I want to see more on them. I would have liked to even test them myself. I wish I had an extra machine where I could do that, but I don't right now. But I want to see what more comes with this. I mean, I know AMD has, the processor world has been hit a lot here lately, and AMD has came out with a statement here, and I'll read it because I think it's a statement to be aware of in this. But here AMD says, we have just received a report at a company called CTS Labs claiming there is potential security vulnerabilities related to certain of our processors. We are actively investigating and analyzing its findings. The company was previously unknown to AMD, and we find it unusual for a security firm to publish its research to the press without providing a reasonable amount of time to a company to investigate and address its findings. At AMD, security is a top priority, and we continue to work on ensure the safety of our users and potential new risks arise. We will update this blog with news as it develops. We'll update this blog as news develops. My bad. So AMD, and I fully believe that they are taking security seriously. We just had Spectrum Meltdown, and I bet Intel's also taking it seriously. So basically have gone through, and AMD's been working probably around the clock since this came out, try to reproduce these, work on fixes if there are able to reproduce them, and we shall see here maybe Monday or something or hopefully Monday on what they've come up with. I'm also hoping other security firms as well come out with something, and a little notification here as what's been going on. Kind of dive in and getting away from the security side of it a little bit here is maybe the more interesting part is the CTS Lab side. And one, I have a problem with how they did and notified AMD with only giving them 24 hours on this. As a software developer, I would have liked if you would have came to me with a security flaw in the software, I would have liked to then taken the time to go on through and look through it, reproduce it, and worked on a fix, and get in a period of time, and then go with releasing it, right? I'm not asking for a year, but this industry standard right now is 90 days, and I think that would have been adequate and a good standard to probably go by here, especially for if these are serious, right? that then uh, AMD would have had the time then to look through and try to get and reproduce them, gone through and everything else. So that's some of my issue with them, with what CTS Labs did. I think them coming out and they want the users to know and everything else. Yeah, I mean, users should know. Users need to know at some point, and it's very important that they do know. But to kind of throw it out there and have them, and if it is serious, let's say a hacker goes through and gets it, now the user's completely exposed with the company, with the parts, with the flaw, working around the clock trying to get a flaw fixed. So you give an opportunity now where more consumers are open and more susceptible to stuff than they would be otherwise. And that's the part where it's not so. It almost seems like CTS Labs, being a security research firm, was more CTS Labs hacker firm. So it's hacker research, right? It's kind of different, and I feel like it's slightly a different area that they kind of maybe should have looked at as well. Then there was also, on the same day it was released, basically before, as soon as CTS Labs kind of announced it, it was this Visceral Research. And what they kind of said was, they went through and said, we believe AMD is worth $0.00, and we have no choice but to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy in order to effectively deal with the repercussions of the recent discoveries. Kind of strange that was basically out almost immediately after CTS Labs announced it as well, and that was shocking to me. While I was trying to go through all this information, I took a couple days on this because I'm really trying to go through it, read everything that's out there, and congratulations to the media and everybody going out there asking questions. The interview and the questions were great. I just want to congratulate all the tech press and everyone that did the interviews out there, because they did a really good job on asking questions. I still got some questions because I'm just confused on some of the answers where, it seems like they were contradicting themselves. And I encourage you to go read some of that and make your own conclusions on it. Maybe I misread it or read it wrong, but if you have something, I'm willing to take a look at it as well. Reddit's done an awesome job. The people on Reddit are amazing. They go through anything and they'll find it. So they do a great job on that. I'm very impressed by them, and they've been reading through the stuff they have has been awesome as well. But one of the legal disclaimers on the AMDflaws.com slash disclaimer, it was very interesting here. And although we have a good faith belief in our analysis and believe it to be objective and unbiased, you are advised that we may have either directly or indirectly an economic interest in performance of the securities of the companies whose products are subject to our reports. I would like to know that information. Is there an economic interest, and what would it be? Security stuff aside, would be important information, I think, for most people. This company was founded last year. Good for them, founding and starting a company. That's awesome. But some of the stuff here is not adding up. The whole 24 hours would have. I mean, can you imagine Spectre Meltdown being released after 24 hours? Ew, it would have been a rough year, for many people. And so there's just those things to keep in mind. And that's why there's an industry standard of like 90 days to go through to keep consumers protected as much as possible, and then tell them if the information after a time period, usually like 90 days, so that they can get the right patches and everything else out to keep them secure, but also let them know what the flaw was. So maybe this is just the first one, and that they made a mistake and that they're going to clean it up. But that's just, I think that people, especially if you're going to get into security, think about those things before you just go, oh yeah, I want to release this to public right away. Make sure that you're doing it for the public interest and not just for your own interest. And so you got to kind of, it's a balancing act, and it's an important one, because it's not like this doesn't, like, if there's a security problem, this just doesn't hurt AMD, it also hurts consumers. And it can be something where you leave people scrambling, and that's not necessarily a good thing to help protect them. But if you help, put in the right channels and make sure that everyone's prepping themselves, it's a way better outcome, and it protects a lot more people, and it helps a lot more people as well. So that's kind of a little bit of my thoughts here. I know I've rambled a little bit on this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole thing. We got one, which is security flaw. I'm waiting to hear more. And I hope to be able to do more of a video on this and really dive into maybe a little bit more of the security flaw side of it. And then there's also then the CTS Labs and how it was handled. And they're two different issues, but I think that they're both equally important to be talking about as well. So let me know what your thoughts are, and see, hopefully, that this improves and we get a better outcome here, and we get basically what a standard kind of should be, because then it kind of will help the industry, I think. And then, let's say something were not to work out. Well, we don't want people to get into a false sense of being secure either. Like, oh, last time somebody just said there was a security flaw and there wasn't really one there. I don't want that to happen. That's a serious issue. So we got to make sure that we develop something so that security flaws are validated and everything else, and they get out through the proper channels, a time period to make sure companies can have a time to look at them, everything else, so that the public is properly protected, because that is very, very important. So until next time, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to support Graya Overload and helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Graya Overload. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe.